First of all, tell us what prompted you to write this and why should people read it?
Well, in part, what prompted me to write it is I'm a native Californian, fifth generation, actually. I was born when Ronald Reagan was governor. I grew up in California. I was educated in California. All of my family is still, I mean, except for obviously my wife and children, are still in California. And I love California, and it's broken my heart over my lifetime to see what has happened to the state. And I know that what liberal progressives have done to California, they want to do to the whole country. So, for instance, on very early in the book, I think on the first page, I quote New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg as he was a candidate for president. He came out to California in his brief campaign, which went nowhere. And he said to the world, I think California should be a model for the country. Those words scared me because I knew what Bloomberg meant. He meant all the woke progressivism should be a model for the country, not the things that originally made California great. And I don't want to see that happen.
No, and I, as a current resident of the state of California, I don't want to see that happen either. And it's funny, my book published last year in August, just months before this pandemic. And so when I make this medical analogy, it was without any knowledge of COVID-19. I called California the petri dish of our country where radical leftism is cultivated and then it is disseminated and infects the rest of the country. It used to be, I feel, that people would dismiss California as just the land of fruits and nuts, and now California, for better or worse, is being used as a laboratory of democracy, and they're testing out all the very, very far left policies that we don't want.
Yeah. Well, what it was when I was a kid and when my parents were kids was a middle-class paradise. It was the place where you could really live the American dream and the California dream, where it was possible to raise a family in wonderful surroundings with great public schools, afford a house, have a great job. And in the course of my lifetime, certainly from, let's say, when I was in my mid-20s onward, what it became was a vastly unequal society where to live the California dream now just costs a fortune. If you're a tech billionaire, if you're a Hollywood mogul, California is great for you. It works wonderfully for you. If you used to work in the manufacturing sector, well, that sector's essentially gone from California now. It's so difficult to live a middle class life in California with the housing costs the way they are, artificially, by the way, inflated by all kinds of restrictive policies that make it impossible to build. The whole first chapter of the book lays out what's gone wrong with California. I couldn't possibly summarize it all now. You got to buy the book, of course. But I don't want to see that happen to the country as a whole. I think it's been a tragedy for California was never ideologically a conservative state. It was sort of light pink. It leaned Republican, but it was very centrist and middle of the road. And it was a happy place then. And now it's very dark blue.